morning, good afternoon. It's Cami and Sarah here, and we're so excited to be here with you. This is the first jam session for several of you, so welcome on board, and I'm excited to have you part of our Syzygy Circle and joining in. We just actually finalized our calendar for the whole jam sessions all year long just last night. We kind of had the basics of it all scoped out, but we wrapped it all up last night. And I'm super excited about the topics that we chose this year. If you saw the list, you know they're a little bit edgier than what we might have been doing in the past, and it's just part of our journey. And we were looking at what do we really need to bring to you guys that we're moving through, that we see our clients moving through, and so the topics that we have for the year are going to be a lot of fun. And this topic today, the in the flow, I'm particularly excited about. So for those of you who haven't met my awesome partner, Sarah Bonenkamp, let me introduce her. You are going to get, Sarah always brings such awesome, amazing energy to the mix of what we're bringing out to you guys. And so, and it's always fun for the two of us to play together. We love to play together and creating and bringing ideas together and really sharing our gifts, which we both come at it from a very different perspective, and we like the yin and the yang of what we bring together. So for those of you who are just meeting her, say hello, and welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. So excited to be here. We're going to have fun today. And I love the whole idea of a jam. As Cami and I were putting this together, it was like, well, this is definitely going to have some music links because, A, we're both music lovers, but there's so much beauty that happens when you just bring people together that have their unique voice, their unique energy, their unique awesomeness, and we do it around a topic that matters, a topic that can really impact the awesomeness level that we're bringing into the world. And so let's really be literal about jamming today. Like, this is going to be a collaborative, fun, energetic time together. So thanks for letting me be here, and I'm excited to dive right in.
Yeah, I am too. So in the flow, and it's funny because the way this came about was, flow is actually my theme for 2017. It is a word that I chose as my #1 thing that I really want to be bringing into my life, into my world, into my clients' world. So flow was a big topic for me, and the way it came about was interesting because I had a really magnificent year last year, no doubt, hands down. My book launched. We launched a whole new segment into our business. There was just a lot of things that were really going on. But what happened was I got caught up in the busyness of it all. And when I got caught up in all that busyness, what I realized was there was a piece. I was feeling stretched. I was feeling pulled too thin. I was my connection to myself got a little bit lost in the way, my connection to my community, my tribe. And I really actually kind of even got off course because I was doing a lot of new marketing. I was learning a lot of new marketing techniques last year, that I realized that what I'm very best at, my very best core thing that I do, is my connection. And connection to myself, connection to others, connection to the flow of the universe around me. And so when I wrote those, when I started sitting down and really brainstorming what I wanted to make happen this year, flow rose right to the top. And I wanted to get back into that flow of being, of feeling, of the energy of what flow can be. And so that's how the topic came about. So that's that. But we're doing jam sessions a little bit differently this year, and I'm going to have Sarah tell you all a little bit about why they're going to be different. For those of you who are new, this is our 3rd year of doing jam sessions, and we've had a whole awesome, amazing series of content that's accessible to all of you on the My Syzygy site. But this year we wanted to do things a little bit differently, to tie into what we think makes us different. So Sarah, do you want to tell them a little bit about it?
You bet. So one of the cool things about the jam sessions is that you're going to see that there is a really beautiful mix of people, and I mentioned that already. And so what you'll see is Cammie's clients come, my clients come, clients who perhaps we've worked with in the past and aren't currently like active, in a coaching relationship. Everybody's invited to come here. And one of the things that we continually hear from our clients is that they love the community, they love the opportunity to learn from one another and share and really be seen and heard, and to be able to be a witness for others to be seen and heard, which I think is really freaking fantastic that we can do that. And the kind of women that show up in our tribe aren't just the average run-of-the-mill, like they're brilliant, amazing, like doing awesome stuff. And so we wanted to create a container where we could do more sharing. And so in the past, if you've been a part of the jam, you know that it was at least 45 minutes of just straight content, awesomeness, good stuff, but not as much sharing and that ability to tap into the amazing community. And so this year, you're going to see less of us delivering content, or at least less time. We're still going to give you great content because we love to do that. But it's going to be about 20 minutes-ish of that, and then we're going to open time up for us to collaborate, for everybody to bring those beautiful instruments into the world, right? That would be those beautiful voices. And so I just would love for you to ask yourself right now, can you be vulnerable? Right? Can you be somebody who's going to be willing to share, to ask a question, or to make the bold statement, or to bring something to the table that somebody else might need to hear today? And that's the other really cool thing about the jam sessions, is that it's not always the same players that show up. The people that are here are the people that need to be here. And so maybe you're going to be the one delivering the beautiful aha moment. Maybe you're going to be receiving it from something somebody else said. But know that today is about sharing and really, just that collaboration. So that's what we're going to do, a little bit different. Be ready. I can't wait to hear what your contributions are.
Yeah, I like this new format a lot. I'm very excited about it. So, as I mentioned, flow was my word. And so what I thought I would actually share with you is what I wrote in my opening journal for this year that is all about flow. And so it starts to describe my version of what flow means to me, and then Sarah's going to share what her version of flow means to her. We're going to give you a few tips on what, how do you open up to more flow in your life, and then we're going to open up to discussion with you guys. So this is mine. How do I want to feel most of the time? I want to feel positive and uplifted, happy, and lit up about the work I'm delivering to the people I'm around. About the work I'm doing with the people I'm around. Love permeates all I do. Deeply and wildly in love with my husband and how we spend our time. Warm and comfortable together in trusted, caring space. I want to feel safe and financially full, energetically flowing, moving, feeling, emotions, caring, loving, and ease, choosing what brings joy. I want to feel the creative juices of life in clean, uncluttered, and easy-flowing energy. And by the way, I have a new clean office to go along with that. It's not driving. It's not hustling. It's bringing and being me in the world. Yes, I want to feel like me, honest, open, feminine, every day. Standing in my strength, in my light, I feel the power of getting things done and accomplished, the success of drawing the right people in alignment with the work that I do. I feel my own essence shine brightly as I attract, and uplift women into the light, not by me doing and lifting, but by me giving them the keys to the pathway and helping them find the guideposts that lead them into the universe inspired, into their own universe inspired path. And speaking of universe, I want to feel a deeper connection to spirit, to the grander universe, and what my role can be. This is spiritual. And it starts with my personal journey, making space to feel these connections in awe and wonder of the magic that occurs when you merely say, I am here, I am open, and I am listening. What do I need to know? So that's been my version of what flow means to me. And just in a quick little synopsis, what I've noticed since the beginning of the year. I have been really diligent in my meditations every morning. I've been really diligent in making space to journal. I've been very diligent in getting to my yoga classes. So the shift that I've made, this commitment to myself to say, yes, this is what I want to stand for, this shift has changed some things in my life. It's also opened up the flow of new possibilities and new opportunities really coming into my pathway, and some just really amazing, exciting things that are coming down the pipeline. And it's not about me driving and making it happen. It's about me saying, I am here to receive. Show me what I need to know, and I'll take the actions and steps to make it happen. So that's been my version of flow. Sarah, how about you?
That was so awesome to hear. You know, and I love also that flow can mean whatever you want it to mean, right? And what Cami describes as flow is going to be different than what you're going to hear I describe flow as. And so as you're listening to these stories, when you start getting really curious about, well, what about those things like have a trigger for me? Does that feel awesome? Does that feel like it fits with me? Does that feel like something, no, I wouldn't want? Like, just really start to notice, because the clearer we get, like what's the whole point of talking about this? The clearer we get, we're going to bring more of that in, right? We're going to have that clarity. We can like say, yes, magnet beams of flow coming your way. And so when I think of flow, I think of space. I think of space for me to create. Like the other day, I decided that a new label I'm giving myself is communications artist. And as an artist, I want to just feel like I've got space to go and build and put things on paper and move ideas out of my brain and into the world, right? So I like this idea of creating space. But knowing that life is crazy busy, right? And I've got my husband, I've got my children, I've got my, insatiable desire to work and to bring cool things. And then I've got my interests like horses and music and, all of this stuff. Space for me is what equates to flow. And it's that space to super tap into curiosity and say, okay, what is it that I need to be doing right now? What is it that I need to really notice? Right? What is it that's right in front of my face that is speaking to me? And am I creating this space to bring it in and to resonate and let it kind of say, this is the direction you need to go right now. And I found that flow, aka space, for me, comes easily when I'm doing things like Cami said, like going to yoga. When I'm creating that time in the morning when I wake up before the kids wake up to just check in and say, what is it that I need to do right now? Is it that I need to move my body? Is it that I need to dive into my journal? Is it that I need to read something that's totally inspiring and uplifting? Is it that I just need to dive in and get some tasks done so that I can create space to do something that I really want later in the day? Right? It's that space to figure out, okay, what's that next best decision that I need to make? Right? When I'm taking that time inside, then everything else flows outside to create that space. It's also about knowing when I need to ask for what I need, because that's a really beautiful way to create space. If I need somebody to watch my kids, if I need somebody to help me with a technical issue, if I need somebody just to give me some feedback, if I need somebody to give me a listening ear, flow for me is asking, making requests, and then knowing when I should make offers. Right? When I see that there's space to go and make a difference, that's when I feel like I'm totally, totally in flow. Right? I know that hustle is a part of my flow, and it's funny because Cami and I are like on complete opposites end of the spectrum on that piece. But when I feel like I've just got so much on my plate and so much opportunity, that's when I'm totally on fire. And to me, hustle is AKA action. It's knowing I need to show up. It's knowing that I need to show up and do perfectly imperfect action, no matter if it feels really awesome or if it's a little hard and pushing me into new edges. Right? But that hustle is definitely a part of my flow. But then it's hustling also as hard in adventure as it is in my work. Right? I love to go and just experience things, and I know that flow happens when I'm out being with other people, when I'm out being in nature, when I'm out just being, right? Instead of just trying to like do all the time. Right? So that's what flow looks like for me. It's about purpose, it's about service, and ultimately it's about doing things that change the being. That's flow.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. And what we want you guys to think about for a moment, just take a minute or so to write this out. What's flowing in your life? What feels like it's flowing abundantly to you, and what's not flowing? So just jot those couple things down.
And as you're thinking, sometimes I like to think of flow as what is anti-flow? Like what doesn't feel like flow? What's the stuff that I really don't want to have in my life? So an overbooked schedule, a time where I'm feeling like I have to do things that really aren't in alignment with the true thing that I want to be doing. You know, I like, yeah, what do you want? But then what are those things that you're going to guard and protect so that that doesn't happen? Got to consider if you're like, I don't know where to begin.
That overbooked schedule is what even probably prompted my attraction to that word this year. It was overbooked, and coming back to I wanted to flow and be in that flow. It feels good.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to come back to, we're going to give you guys space to really dig into and share what flow means to you as we get closer to the end of this. So,
right.
What's beautiful is that just by being on this call today and playing in these questions with curiosity and love, you're opening yourself up to more flow in your life. There's connection all around you. The people on this call, the universe, the connection to yourself. You're making space to yourself. So just by surrounding yourself, and I love this quote, surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers. Surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you, even when you don't see it in yourself. So the more, when you make space like you guys are all doing for yourself, this is what opens up flow around you. And as I shared with you, this is the journal question I've been playing with. I am here. I am open. I am listening. So just putting that out each morning, I'm here, I'm open, I'm listening. What do I need to know? And not trying to think it all through in my head, because we all get so into our left brains, right? We all are always so into our left brains. What are the actions? What are the strategies that I need to apply? Versus sometimes opening up to what needs to flow through me is a whole different question to be playing with here. So flow can be really the space of opening up to whatever it is that wants to come through you.
And creating space to see what comes up when you ask that question.
Yeah,
right?
right. And it's fascinating. Totally fascinating when you ask yourself that question. Versus trying to force, what are the stars trying to tell me, or what are the, the angels, or whatever it is that brings you guidance, versus what wants to flow through me. Now I want you to write down 5 words. How do you want to feel most of the time in 2017? This is a good place to start, because if you know how you want to feel, you can start making choices in your life. Write down those 5 words. Well, what I want you guys to do is put those 5 words in a place where you can see them on a regular basis.
I love sticky notes. Sticky notes on your mirror. 1 word per note. Frame that sucker and see that.
Yeah. And then next to each word, what can you do more in your life to bring more of that in?
Right. And one of the words that I wrote that I want to feel in 2017 is I want to feel sexy. Right? And so then I do that ... Okay, well, what is it going to take for me to feel sexy? Well, I know that I feel sexy when my body feels sexy, right? When I know that I've got some good curves going on and it just, you know, I just feel good from, you know, that visual perspective. But then I know that there's some emotional pieces that come into that. So make sure that you're curious, okay, I know that. What does that really look like? What does that take?
No one ever said that letting go and trusting this journey that we're on is supposed to be easy, right? You're all on big journeys. You're all making changes in your life. You're standing up for what you believe in. You want to matter, or putting your voice out into the world. And what happens, I can promise you, when you start doing that, is that fear is going to show up in the midst of those flowing, you know, and those transformations, right? Fear does show up, or a scarcity shows up. All kinds of different emotions are going to show up. And that's all okay that it shows up because it's really normal. But it's also what can just turn down. It can, you know, it can basically stop the flow. It can get right into the way if you don't recognize that's what's doing. So when we get those fear, the scarcity thinking, and the negative thoughts, they stop, they slow things down. And the good news is, I mean, we're going to go through a whole lot of fear training in March. We're going to go through a whole jam session focused on fear. But in the meantime, what I'd really like you just to remember is that we get to make choices every day. Choices on how much time you're going to spend on those emotions, whether it's fear, whether it's scarcity. And how does that make you move when you feel fear? What happens in your body? I will just shout out a couple of words from you guys. When you feel fear, how does it make you move?
I move really cautiously.
Yeah, so cautiously. Sometimes you don't move at all, right?
Duck.
Yeah. So
What is that? I heard somebody try to say something, but it got cut off.
Duck.
Stuck.
What?
Is that what you said?
Makes you feel stuck.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So it's not a nice fear. So just learn to recognize it and learn to start loving on your fear a little bit and loving on yourself a lot more when you feel that. Be really gentle with yourself. Tell yourself, you know what, I realize you're feeling fear, but we've really got some exciting things in front of us, and we are stepping forward. We're moving forward, and we're in this flow, and it means we're going to stretch a little bit. We're going to grow a little bit. So that's when you start feeling it. Just learn to recognize it and learn to love on yourself a bit more deeply when that happens.
Right. I think the awareness factor is the big deal. It's like, oh, shoot, this is happening, and now that I know, I can make some different choices. And I was having the same thing, like that stuck feeling that you were just talking about, is that I was trying to create this new program and creating, you know, all of my launch materials and messaging, and I just wasn't doing any of the work. And I just was using this excuse of, I just don't know what to say, I don't have the right message, and oh, I just don't know. And it was really starting to make me mad. And I like made that aha, like, okay, you're totally making excuses, Sarah. And then I moved into, so what do I need to get back in flow? And what I realized I needed to get back into flow was connection. I needed connection back to my clients. I needed connection back to that truth of what it is that I know that I bring to the table but I wasn't seeing. And so I made a couple of simple requests, right? I called one of my clients and I said, so what is it like to work with me? Could you just tell me, please? Like, give me some feedback. And oh my gosh, the beauty that ensued, the words that came out of her mouth, I was just like, oh, that's what I need to be talking about. And then I sent a text message to another and made the same request. And boom, within moments, bright shining example of what I do and what my message needed to say. And it was like, oh my gosh, so cool that I finally had that duh moment and that action that came after that to move. Because then after that it was like, oh well, of course I can do this. Moving on, making messages, rocking in flow.
Yeah, and that's why we spend so much time, you guys, focused on who are you at your very best, what are your gifts, what are your talents, what are your strengths. Because when you start from that space, that it gives you a different foundation to work from. And when fear shows up, you have different tools to move through it. So know that you're going to keep getting tools all year long on fear, but just in the meantime, really start to recognize it so that it's not shutting things down. It's not keeping you stuck. It's not letting, keeping you in this place of non-movement.
Blocking your flow.
Yeah. And another sure way to break flow is to lust after the outcome. It's like I've seen this happen where, I actually can go back to 2 years ago when I was a single woman. I wasn't married, and I really, really wanted a relationship. And, I lusted after that relationship. And guess what? It didn't come. And it didn't come because the energy that I was putting out into the world around it was constricted. It was not that flowing energy. As soon as I let it go, that lusting of, gosh, I need this, I said, I'm going to go focus on these other things. Guess what? Lo and behold, Tim showed up in my life. And it was truly letting that go. So we can play in these thoughts of, the 60,000 thoughts that run through our head every single day. We can play in and play the same tape over and over and over again. And if it's kind of a lusting type desire that you're putting out there, I want this, I want more money, I want this title, I want, whatever that might look like, try to let that go and then go back to who you are and trust in the journey that you're in and keep working on you. So that's a good way to really move through that and just give yourself more care and self-love when you catch yourself in that. And then the other piece, and I think Sarah hit on this a little bit earlier on, is what you need to let go of in your life, what's giving you that anxious energy, what's keeping you awake at night. Release those restrictions, release the barriers, release the walls, all of that sort of thing. If you start recognizing what you're holding on to, and if you let it go, what might come forth in that space that opens up behind that. And then just another quick little way to always consider when you're making some important decisions about choices in your life, if you start to pay attention to what you feel in your body when you're comparing two different choices, so is one heavy and one light? And if you feel something in your body and it feels light and there's brightness to it, there's a chance that that's the right choice that can help you move into a way that is aligned to where you're supposed to be going, where you're supposed to be flowing. If you are feeling like all kinds of resistance in your body, and you have to be careful, you're not just saying that heaviness is fear, but be curious about, is it fear or is it really just not the right answer for me? And sometimes if you can feel that tension in your body and you can really start to feel the difference between the light and the heavy, so next time you're thinking about a choice or a question that you're trying to make, just be curious. How does this one feel in my body? How does this one feel in my body? What's different? Where do I feel differently in my body? And there's a lot of really beautiful ways to just, to listen to your body and let the answers come and flow through you. So, with that, what do you want to flow through you in 2017? And more importantly, what we really want to hear. You want to tell them about what we want to hear from them, Sarah?
So we've given you some food for thought, right? We've asked you to be curious about flow. We've asked you to really think about what are those words that describe, what it is that you're really wanting, and tapping into what that feeling is, that knowing is, right? And so now it's time for you to just share, right? The jam. So what's resonating most with you as you think about flow, right? Maybe there is an opportunity for you to share some insights about something that helps you get out of a funk, right, and back into flow. Right? Maybe there's an opportunity for you to talk about something that's given you major heartburn around flow. What's making it challenging, and how can we come to bat and be there for you? Right? And then ultimately, what advice do you have for somebody who's looking to bring more flow into their life? Because I know we've all experienced awesome states of flow at some points along our journeys. So what do you have? So this is really open space, and I would love to see who's going to be the first to dive in and share.
Just raise your hand, and then we'll Most of you are all unmuted here, so then you're muted on your end. So Maria, you want to go first? Whoops, I just muted you. There you go. Unmute yourself, and then you can go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Hey,
Thank
there
you.
she is. Awesome.
Thank you, Maria.
Hello. I just have a poem in front of me, and it says, "Laughter is the sun that drives winter from the human face." And I just thought that is just such a sweet thing. You know, we're in winter, it's dark, it's a little gloomy, it's snowy, but it's also very beautiful, and there's a lot of joy in it. And as I'm thinking about my flow, it's been a month of it, to be honest with you. It started last month in December, really sitting down and allowing myself to be creative and see, and hearing your versions of your flow was really helpful. So I just wrote something that I'm struggling with right now is seeing the best intentions in others as they come into my life, you know, and seeing those folks as an opportunity that is being shared with me, instead of, you know, having my other brain turn on and not have faith in our society. And so I really want to work on being in that flow, because I think there's just constantly blessings and lessons to be learned.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful way to look at it. And as you're talking about that, having faith in people, like that, it has such a beautiful energy to it versus I'm going to be a judge, or I'm going to, you know, see all of the craptastic stuff that's going around the world, right? Because we know that this is a really interesting time, but to really look at it through that, you know, how can I really serve others, or, you know, see the best in others and really have faith that there's goodness out there. I mean, that just made my little eyes tear up a little bit, because it's so true. Thank you for sharing that beauty and that reminder.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And I think the words that, you know, we can always look at the energy of words. You know, faith in people. There's, like Sarah said, there's beautiful energy associated with that. It's not a nasty word. It's a warm and loving word. And so the words that we choose to share and to speak and to come forth out of us certainly brings a different energy to the world, and that puts us in a different flow. Can you say the poem one more time that you said that you had, Maria?
Mm-hmm. Laughter is the sun that drives winter from the human face. It's by Victor Hugo.
Good.
Love that.
I love that idea of the words. Like, I was playing around with some messaging the other day and stuff that resonated, and I was like, yeah, you want to crush your goals. And I'm like, I don't want to crush my goals. I want to be a game changer. And that's totally different.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to go and do really cool things and make a difference. So yeah, that once you say that word, it's got to make you feel like, oh yeah, that's what it is, and that's me. Right? I'm not a crusher. I'm a light. Yeah. Cool. Who else has something to share?
Gretchen, go ahead.
Okay. A tool I've found useful when I'm feeling stuck or resentful or resistive is to put myself in the frame of mind that everything that is happening in my life right now, I chose it and I choose it. This person in my life who I've been thinking of as difficult, I just pretend for a little bit, what would it feel like if I asked that person to come into my life? And I don't know if I'm being clear, but whatever is happening, you know, the mental exercise of saying, all of this is perfect, I'm glad I have it, in fact, it couldn't be better, and that just changes the whole energy.
Yeah, and you know what I love about that, Gretchen, is so often when we feel like, if we feel the resistance of a relationship or something going on, there's such a great teaching moment in that for ourselves to grow and expand, right? Versus being, you know, it's all about that person and projecting our feelings on that person versus I chose this, I choose it, and I'm growing and evolving from it.
Right. Yeah, life isn't happening to us, right? We're out there being an active part of it, and what's my choice right now of how I want to be? I want to welcome that in, or I want to, I love that. It's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that.
And relationships are a huge component of our flow. Right? So you just hit on an amazing piece. Like, okay, you could think about, your internal, how you're taking care of yourself, but what's that piece of you of the people, right? And those relationships that matter most, and what do you want that flow to look like? So you can really take this activity and thinking about flow and really make it specific to the different roles and people associated with you in your life. Boy, howdy, that's a giant chunk. Love that.
Thank you, Gretchen. Who's next? Alice, go ahead. You got to unmute on your end. You see where you unmute? You push the little green microphone. You see that, Alice? There's a little green microphone that you want to push it so that it won't be green actually right now. It'll be gray, and then when you push it, it will turn green. And it should be in your dialog box.
And while she's getting that figured out, if there's anybody that has, some kind of reason why you can't share verbally, know that we've got a chat box. If you haven't already seen that, you can type a question or a comment or a thought in there and share it with everybody that way. Background noise or what have you. Please feel free to jump in that way as well.
Okay, so why don't you try that, Alice, if you can't find the unmute button, because you were unmuted earlier. Debbie, go ahead.
I think, Alice, try again right now. Maybe.
Oh, it looks like I'm
there. You are. Cool.
Okay.
I was going to pursue more inquisitiveness and less analyzing in my life. More flow.
I love that word. Yeah. Inquisitive just is like all of the wonder and possibility, and I just want to know and learn and grow, and that's a powerful word.
Yeah, yeah. I think the curiosity of just being open to being curious about why things are happening around you, or what might you do with this, or that's a great thing. So thank you, Alice. Go ahead, Debbie.
Hey guys. So I don't have anything as far as like what is it that I as far as advice for flow, but I'm sitting here thinking through all this stuff, and I'm about to like bawl my eyes out because I'm struggling with what I've got going on. Cami knows that I lost my job last month, and then there were some other personal things that happened in my family life, which I think that was like the silver lining as far as me not having to work, that I was able to take care of family obligations and not have to worry about would I have my job or not, because I didn't have one. And so now I'm trying to step into figuring out what's my next chapter, and part of it is that I really would love to start my own business of some sort. I have kind of an idea, but at the same time, financially, we need to have my income, so I'm trying to find a job, and so I wrote down that I need a better game plan. I need to figure out balance, because I think that it's I wake up in the day, and it's also hard because I have an almost 15-month-old baby, so I'm still not sleeping very well. So I don't know how to go and balance out my time with doing my hustle like Sarah says, and being a mom boss, and that's where I'm struggling. So and flow is really a great thing for me to think about, because I've been pulling a lot of free resources out on the web from all these different coaches and businesses and things. And one gal, she talks about when she's in her strength, it's like I felt like she stepped into a current. So you think of Finding Nemo and the sea turtles, and they go into the current and they're like, yeah, and having a great time. That's where, when she was talking about her and her strengths and where she was meant to be, that's where I want to be. And I'm like, that's totally flow, where you find your strengths, you jump into that current, you're having a great time, and you're kicking butt. So that was a whole lot to say.
I'm glad you brought it up, because we don't always find ourselves in flow. I mean, that's the truth. That's the truth of our life. Things will get will shake us. It will us. Yeah. And what I'd like to say is sometimes when we get those shakes and those moves that take us in different directions, often it's the universe saying you're supposed to be in a different place, in a different way. And it's giving you the opportunity to make adjustments in your life. And it's not always easy. It's not always this you know, it's not all roses and flowers as you're moving through there, because you're changing, you're making big changes in your life. So I think what you're doing, Debbie, and continuing to, you know, look out, you know, go out and find resources to help you build on the idea that's there for you. Keep being curious about, keep showing up in things that are giving you opportunity to define what that next path looks like for you, and things will start to move, and motion will start to come forward with that. But it doesn't mean that it's always there.
I love the Nemo vision that I saw in my head, because you can see them. They're like, woo, is there in that flow? That was a really cool way to describe it. But I'm really curious, Debbie, can you describe how it felt for you to just give voice to what you shared? Like, how are you feeling right now?
She's actually just, in the messages, she says she's calling back in and she lost the call. So she's going to have to go back and listen to the recording.
Right. Well, and it's so hard to, like, give voice to the stuff that's difficult, right? And to say, oh, this isn't always easy. And, you know, part of flow for me is to be, like, super honest, and even like to just speak my truth, even when it sucks.
Because if you're not there's so much truth, what happens, right? If you're not speaking your truth, it totally will
pushing it down. You're like, oh no, this isn't me. No, I just need to pull my big girl pants up and, you know, figure my shit out. It was like, no, actually, this is a cool thing. Like, you just have some massive awareness that stuff isn't working, and so what can you do with that? Well, you can make the next best decision that you need to make. Right? And say, well, I know that I feel more in flow when I go to spin. And I don't know that that's a huge thing for Debbie right now. She's putting a lot of attention on building her muscle, right? Building her body. And it's a mental thing too, I'm sure. Right? And so it's like, okay, that's what I have to do. When I don't know what to do, I go inside. When I don't know what to do, I try to get clarity. When I don't know what to do, I reach out and I ask for help when I need to, right? You know that you've got to shift. And so Debbie, you owe me feedback. How did it feel to share your truth? Because I bet some stuff just got knocked loose right there.
Yeah, and I know you're going to have to go back and listen to it because you fell off.
Yeah.
But the recording will be there for you. I think you're back now, right?
I am back, and I love how I missed all of it.
Well, it's going to be good for you to hear it back, I promise.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing.
Okay, thanks, ladies.
Thank you. Who else?
Is there anybody else that needs to share their truth? Just say it out loud. Or any thoughts for Debbie, or, you know, people when they get stuck?
And or even just to claim what flow you want to be bringing into the world, how you want to be feeling in 2017. This is a great opportunity to put voice to that. Carolyn, do you have anything you want to share?
So can you hear me?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, because my earbuds and mic weren't working, so I wasn't sure. I guess I kind of feel a little bit like Debbie. You know, I'm feeling like nothing's in flow right now. Everything feels like it's conflicting priorities, and which way do I go, and you know, so I guess my goal for 2017 is to get into flow, and I'll have to say that the march we did on Saturday was a great step toward that, because I was feeling really kind of sad about everything, and that actually gave me some hope. You know, like to see all that positive energy, and really people taking a stand, made me feel good and hopeful. So that was like, okay, at least I got that part.
Yeah, and you're in that early phase too of big change, where that the big change is actually happening this week, right? And so it's that that pivotal point. Something new is out there for you, new opportunities.
Yeah, and I think the big thing I need to let go of is what I'm leaving, and I'm being forced to let go of that. So, come Tuesday of next week, that's gone.
Yeah.
And I think that will open me up to then start to work on the possibilities instead of just closing out the past.
Yeah, because you've kind of still been in it because you haven't left yet. But as of next Tuesday, when it's behind you, and I love the fact that you notice that's the piece that I can let go of. I can let go of that. It's the old. That's the old job. And new things are in front of me.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that she also hit on a really important piece, that there's such power in going and doing something that you've never done, or surrounding yourself with people that you don't know, but in a united cause, or just to go and act, to do something, and to put yourself in a new environment. Like that brings creativity, that brings new possibilities. It just shakes things up a bit. And so I love that you showed up. Just doing that can bring new flow. So kudos to you for going.
Hey, we have time for one more. Does anybody else want to share? Okay, Janet, go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
I don't have a lot to add. I just wanted to comment that over the weekend I was filling out all my forms and everything, and it took me a long time to just kind of try to figure out what am I looking for and what does have me stuck. And it was interesting, Cami, when you read what you had written about how you want to feel and what you're looking for and everything. It was just like, wow, everything you said was exactly what I was trying to come up with. So it all really resonated with me, and it was good to just hear that put into words and expressed. And I think from this conversation, I think what I'm realizing has me stuck, and probably is what tends to has me stuck now, and is usually probably the problem, is that fear that you're talking about, just a fear of, I don't know, it could be various things or whatever, but in just sitting here and pondering that as we're talking, I think maybe the biggest step is just realizing that and figuring out what that fear is, because once I realize what I'm afraid of, then it kind of loses its power and I can just work through it. Yeah. But not really knowing what that is, it's just this awful feeling that I don't know what to do about.
Exactly. That is so true. I'm so glad you said that, Janet, because if you can start to identify it, then you start saying, well, is that really that big of a scary thing? And you can start playing the what-if scenario. Right. And chances are it's not a life and death what-if scenario.
Yeah. And I love what you said about the, it's helpful to hear what somebody else's version is, and you can be like, oh yeah, that's exactly, I couldn't put words to that. I saw a meme yesterday, and it said something to the effect of, I really love quotes or searching for quotes, because it helps me to put language to stuff that I can't do myself. And so if you're feeling stuck and you're not sure, well, what is it that you want to welcome in, go and play on Pinterest. Go on Instagram, go and just Google quotes and images, and you might see something there. You're like, yes, that speaks directly to my heart. If you're having those moments, that's ... your flow, what you want more of in your life, that stuff. So there could be some magic there.
Yeah, and I think, and that's part of the reason why we wanted to change the format of these, because we think there's such great power in sharing and sharing each other's experiences and feelings and where you're at, and where you say, oh, that's me too. I see this, and so you start to connect dots, and I think that helps us all grow stronger in our journeys. Thank you so much. Okay. So keep turning up your voice, keep playing in this, keep going back to those different questions that we asked today. You know, I'm here, I'm open, I'm listening. It is such a powerful way to start your day, and see what flows through to you, and share out on our Facebook group what comes up for you, if new ideas are coming up for you, you know, so just keep the conversation going around flow. We'd really like to keep, you know, use that as a theme this month that we can all dig into.
Yes, celebrate when you're in flow and what worked for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And this book, oh my God.
Stuck. If you're feeling stuck, say, guess what, I'm feeling stuck. I'm here. Help me move some energy. You know, if just putting it out there helps move energy and gets you out of that stuck spot. We like to always do a reading recommendation, and this by far was my favorite book that I read last year, and I think probably Sarah's as well. It's The Universe Has Your Back, and it's by Gabby Bernstein. Recommend it highly to all of you. So if you haven't gotten it, recommend you do and dig in and really play it.
Amazing. And then go watch her TED Talk, because she's not only is she a fabulous author, but the girl can speak and presence and just like the whole package. Like, you'll see that. So go and do some work around miracle workers and Gabby. She rocks.
Get some Gabby love this month.
Yeah, and if you're not already following her on social media, if you're into social media, do, because she posts really, really cool content.
She does. And then just and I posted this out on the Facebook group this morning. Here is the schedule for the year, and we actually, instead of going to do just 6 for the year, we're actually going to do 11 for the year, because we just felt like we had so much stuff that we needed to be playing in. And some of these are edgy, and then they're edgy for Sarah, and I can tell you right now, I look at one of them, I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about? But it's part of our journey, and it's part of sharing our journey with you, and we think it's part of the feminine journey that we're all on, that we get to play in all of these together. And so looking forward to really sharing this journey with you this year. Sarah, do you want anything else you want to say?
And you'll see a couple of new faces too. We're going to be inviting some people that we absolutely love, who we know have amazing messages that we all need to hear. You'll see some new faces too, so be ready for that. And really, just know that when you've carved out this 45-minute, block of time, that you're amazing because you showed up, and that this is your space to come and to collaborate and create this community. So be ready to plug in and have a great time. Thank you guys so much for your time today, for doing this work.
Thank you guys. It's great to see you all, and till next time. Bye.